welcome back to another episode of Day Sports, where we're not about the X's and O's with the show and goes. What a hell of a weekend. Honestly, this is going to be the biggest Broncos glaze session of all time. The boys finally got it done after 19 years, won the grand final. I don't know. I feel like I've completely crashed down from the weekend. It's been a big weekend of many, many beers. I've got a glass of wine because, all the 4X is gold. So if I gone, not cold, gone. All the 4X is gone. I wish I had some to bloody carry on a little bit more with. But and if I had my ski goggles, I'd almost have those on, celebrating a bit of a cigar, all that sort of stuff. But before we jump into basically the recap and everything that happened over the weekend, make sure you give this video the Jake Trbojevic treatment. Hit that like button. Do it for the Broncos boys. Goes a long way to support the channel. Shout out to all the new subscribers as well. There have been so many getting on board recently. Really appreciate all the support. Go suss out all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, all that sort of jazz. As you can see, lots of Broncos stuff kind of going on today. I'm not going to apologise for it. There's going to be a lot of it. And just about one of our last rugby league videos for the year. Obviously, in the off-season, there's going to be a little bit of content here and there, and sliding over to cricket. But we'll just jump straight into it, really. So now, kicking off, though, on the Sunday, obviously we had the Brisbane Broncos, the women's team. They got it done over the Chooks. Absolutely massive. Didn't get to watch all of this one. Probably got about half of it. Was heading over to, girlfriend's family place type of thing while driving. So I didn't get to watch as much of it as I'd like, but caught the second half. I remember it was 12-0 on the way there, going, oh, yeah, sweet. Looks like the girls are going to kick on. Got there. Chooks are up. I'm like, what's going on here? The brawl at the end of the game, that was a little bit unexpected, but yeah, massive to the girls. Congratulations there. And then old Teddy Swims, not the worst thing in the world at all. He, I think he held his own against Snoop, a little bit different, not quite the same class as Snoop, but dare say he pretty much won over the crowd with a little bit of AC/DC. The only thing he was lacking was Jimmy Barnes coming out to perform with him. That's about it. There was a photo up on the punters and dribblers page. I might even post it up on here, but there was an outfit that Teddy Swims was wearing, and it was comparison to when Scooby-Doo dressed up in the second movie and tried to blend in with the people as an old lady. Oh, it had me fucking going. This thing was hilarious, but I'll post that up there. But let's just rip the Band-Aid off. One, obviously Tom's not here as well. He's currently on holidays down in Melbourne, so he won't be here for this one. Should be back next week anyway, so you're just going to have me rambling on about my Broncos until I can't ramble on anymore. But gosh, I don't even know where to start. It has just been crazy couple days. Carrying on, I'm always part of the team or something like that. But it has been 19 years, like I said. The last time the Broncos won the grand final in 2006 against the Melbourne Storm of all teams. I would have been about 8 years old over in New Zealand, staying with my grandparents up at about midnight watching that grand final. Obviously I can remember a bit of it, but it's not like everything that's been going through the last few years. And just the heartbreak of 2023, that was before Day Sports started and kind of got into all that. But that was shattering. That was just heartbreak. And then you got 2015 and it ties into all this, but we finally get it done and we beat the Melbourne Storm 26-22. And really in Broncos fashion again, we have had one of the craziest years, runs, and I say we, people carry on going, oh fucking we and this, that. It's I swear it's everyone that comes apart. All of Brisbane came together to get this thing done, you know what I mean? So but the boys, they got it done. Everything that happened with Kevy, Madge coming in, all the media beat up at the start of the season. Started off not too bad. The amount of injuries, fell off a cliff. Losing all of our players in one play the last time. Well, not the last time we played Storm. X amount of rounds ago against the Storm. So many people wrote us off. Going in against the minor premiers. Probably have the greatest comeback of rugby league NRL history anyway. That was just ridiculous, that final against Canberra. To knock off the dynasty of the Penrith Panthers, it was just cherry on top. And I was talking to people before the game, yes, obviously want to win the grand final, be shattered if we lost another one. And I was just thinking, I can't see them losing another one. I don't know if I could cope. But to knock off Penrith, that was pretty sweet on the way. And then to go through and beat Storm the way that we did, same thing, come from behind against Panthers, going into the sheds behind in this one, bang, got the damn thing done. So it is unreal, but that first half, it had me a bit hot and horny for a little bit stressed about other parts. I think it was in the first, 2-3 minutes, he had Dino going over. Bloke had me having a heart attack, though, like literally tiptoeing by the line. I was just, like, I think all of us were just yelling, like, put the ball down, but, like, obviously trying to get a spot for the kick, sure, but that was just, he comes so close. Like, if he had ended up stepping out or something, that would have just been heartbreaking. But Storm, kind of after that, that's when it started to get a little bit, okay, we got to stick with them like we basically have been doing with these other teams in the first half, because they went bang pretty quickly. I think it was 3 tries in that first half there, and you don't want to let Storm, with the attacking power that they've got, get too far in a lead. And then here comes Mr. Number One, Mr. Toilet Water, Mr. Reece Walsh himself. Fucking unreal run. Kobe Hetherington busted through, and then Reece just went, yeah, ball me, no worries at all. Put a few fens on. The direction and speed change and just the power that Walshy showed, beat about 5 blokes to crash over. That was electric sort of stuff. Like, what are we seeing here? But yeah, and then coming out of the sheds, we really locked down that defence. That was pretty much, yep, that's it, boys. No more points coming through there, and just starved Storm of their attack. Like, they just had so much ball in that first half. Can say whatever about the reffing. There was calls in this game that definitely went both ways. Like there was a point there, the shoulder that Reece got, I think it was on Xavier Coates to the head. Yeah, that one probably could have been turned on the bin. I genuinely thought Reece was going to get sent from 10, because that was direct contact, no wrapping arm. I don't really think too much at all, and he got to stay out there. Obviously, Liero later on the game got sent off, a bit more vicious, a bit more in that, I think, like circumstance-wise, with Coates kind of falling and whatever else. But even that, I was like, fuck, are we about to see a Canberra thing here where they're going to have Reece in the bin for 10, come back out fresh as a daisy and absolutely rip them apart? But, we gave away some dumb penalties and 6 agains and a few things during that first half that just didn't help us out at all. But we stuck in there, and it was similar to a lot of those other weeks where it was kind of just like, we just need to get to half-time at this stage, and then we can just go from there. But it was just ridiculous. And then after that, though, losing Renault. Oh, actually, before we get to that, just I could just make this entire video, honestly, about Reece Walsh. Like, the stuff that all of our points just about came off him. The amount of try saves, but the one on Tui Kamakamitha right there after halftime to stop a big boy that close to the line. Like, there was just so many moments like that. But not too long after that, though, like, seeing Renault go down, that was just so sad. You just see him straight away, hand up. You're like, oh no, that's gone. And, we still got a few good players laying around. It wasn't really full panic stations, I think, at this point, but knowing that the boys could step up to it. We haven't had Renault for weeks at this stage. You've got Ben Hunt, of all people, just laying around out there, and you've got Ezra Mam. So it's like, sweet. That's looking okay at this point. And then I think it was about 13 minutes to go. But just even the catch-up, though, like everything, the Reece putting Dino over for a second try. Also, shout out Dean Mariner and Karapani. Like, they just had an unreal game. They've been so good the last few weeks, but coming up against Storm, like they a lot of people would probably have seen that as a bit of a mismatch, but they got the damn thing done. It gave me a lot of confidence seeing what they did against them in round 27, where they were able to pretty much nullify them, and they barely were able to use them in the air at all this game. And I think Storm knew the Broncos were just going to say, like, run the same plan of just obstruct the fuck out of them, like, whatever, we'll take the penalty, defend our line, and that's basically what we did. I think we gave away one when they went to Coates, and Stags just went, yeah, nah, not happening, bruh. But they were just immense. The meters that they made, everything they did from the back was just awesome. Great under the high ball, killed it. Obviously, Dan Mariner getting 2 tries in the grand final. Hell of a thing. Bullets coming off Reece. Yeah, I think it was about 20 minutes to go or something like that when Shibasaki gets over for his second one. Shiba, another one that just, in attack in particular, just had a game. Like, that bloke is impossible to stop from about 10 metres out. Like, size, strength, bang, thanks for coming. But yeah, like, that was... It gave me flashes a little bit of the 23 grand final. It was nearly similar time. Like, I remember looking at the clock and just going, fuck, there's a lot of time here. But like, we had much bigger lead, obviously, in 23. So hanging on to, the 4 points, or however, 4 points, 6 points, whatever the lead, 4 points, sorry. the lead was at that point. Like that's not one that you want to bunker down, boys. We're just going to defend this and ride it out. Like our our best option was to continue attacking, and then it gets down to about 13 minutes, and Karapani, I think he got pulled off for a HIA. You're like, okay, shit, that's starting to get a little bit worrying. Trying to fill up that. Because when you lose those wingers and you're moving people from the centres to the wing and second rowers, like it just becomes such a big target. And Storm, sure, they lost some people as well around that kind of aspect. But that was a little bit starting to go, okay, a little bit, starting to get a little bit stressed here. And then you see Ben Hunt go into a tackle really badly, pretty much be KO'd on the ground, get up, stumbling all over the place. And you just like, you start feeling for the dude instantly, like, no, can't happen here. And then you see Reece Walsh just get to him as soon as he can just to hold him because bro's legs was going all over the place. And shout out to Pappy as well for going over, obviously, to check on him. And Reece just held him, made sure it was all sweet. And I'd love to know what they actually said to each other there. But I think it was probably a whole lot of just like, I got this, bro. Like, it's all sweet. And I feel like there was a real passing of the torch moment when Ben Hunt got held by Reece Walsh there, and just that moment before he went off there. You've already got Reno off and you got Dozer going off now, and just that passing of the torch to Reece and him stepping up and going, boys, I got this, I'll finish this game for you. So that was sad seeing him. And then I guess in a way, like it kind of went full circle with Tyson Smoothie. I believe he was the last one to come back on. With Ben Talty getting left out of that team, you're like, what would have happened if it was Ben Talty on there and we didn't have Smoothie or Pakes or guys that are a bit more versatile to cover those spots? Still cut that we didn't have Ben Talty out there, but or obviously Billy Walters, but they got the damn thing done. It wasn't until I saw clips on all of it's just a big blur, I suppose. I'd like to thank 4X Gold for that, but it was. I didn't realize how close we were to losing that when it was that last kind of line break they made. Ali Katoa gets through and offloads to Paps and Reece stops it. I thought that was like minutes before, and I didn't realize that was like the last play of the game almost type of thing. That would have just been the most shattering thing of all time. And I feel for the Storm fans a little bit. Both teams have been there, but it was just Broncos time at this point. And I've said it all year, and I said it over and over and over. Like, they just don't seem like they're the same team. They're vulnerable. And in all their matchups against them this season, it just looked like we were a team that could go on and get the damn thing done. So, very, very good win. So the Ben Hunt redemption arc, it's fully complete. He has finished the story at this point. Netflix, KO, Stan, I don't care who it is. They need to make some sort of mini documentary about this because it is one of the all-time rugby league, all-time stories just going around, I think, at this point. Like, from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs 10 years later. And it was always just a bit of a dream, I think, as soon as he got signed, just the idea of that being a thing. And it was always so far away, and it got closer and closer and closer. And there's so many players in the team as well. Your Payne, your Paddy, your Katoni Staggs, all the guys that were there in 2023. But I think it would have hit something different for Dozer, and you saw that emotion. And it was a pretty raw moment when you had him and Reno there on the sideline. The final whistle goes, and they just like embrace, and all the boys get around them, like unreal sort of stuff. And you could just see how much that meant for Dozer. So glad the boys got it done. Like, all wrongs have been written, all redemption story has been finished. Like, they could retire tomorrow and they got rings and happy days, but could not be happier for old Ben Hunt. Like, Ben Hunt of all kinds to get it done. Like, unreal sort of stuff. And particularly the way like Brisbane I wanted to go to Caxton Street at the start of the season. Better, if you'd like to sponsor us, reach out. But they did a promotion again when they had the 100 to 100-1 odds and $10 bonus bet on there. So $10 obviously paying into $1,000. Chucked it on Broncos at the start of the season, and cha-ching, baby. A little bit of Christian Tuipulotu about that. Thank you very much for coming. That felt very sweet. Hit a few other things as well in there, but I wanted to go in. But Brisbane has just been on a tear with sports. the double with the Broncos women's and the men's getting it done in the NRL. Obviously, the Brizzy Lions the weekend beforehand. Like, we're on fire. Queensland, just get it. New South Wales, they've been hanging on to the hopes of New South Wales coach or New South Wales players. Shut up. You shit at Origin, you don't get it. The only ones that do is Payne Haas and your coach. Obviously, Joey Johns gets it, but outside of that, just let us have our moment. Don't be salty about it. And Victorians, you're mostly just Queenslanders anyway when it comes to your rugby league. So I'm not going to hear it, but unreal sort of stuff. But at this point, there needs to be another public holiday. The Queensland Premier, do the right thing. You know, what you could do in honouring of the elite sporting stuff that's going on here in Queensland, you can call it Premier's Day if you need to. Tie your name into it. Make it a little thing on the Friday before the Rugby League Grand Final. Yes, I know the AFL's the weekend before, but there needs to be another public holiday as a massive shout out to the sporting achievements over the last 2 weekends. One thing I'm really hoping to see over the next few weeks, Forex Gold. Forex. You definitely need to release another premiership version of the golds like they had at the grounds. It looks like they've got some, and I really do hope they're coming out. But if you haven't made them, start pumping them out. I need a few cartons of those. Not only Smash, I'll collect them. I know it sounds weird collecting beer. I like collecting shit. It is what it is. But yeah, so get into a little bit more of the players and this, that, and everything else. So Reece Walsh, just like, where do you start with that? Going on to win the Clive, the performance that he had, tries, try assists, the try-saving tackles, like, he was everywhere. I think he's probably put together the greatest 80 minutes in a grand final ever. And I know recent, and I'm a Broncos fan, and I'm going to suck him from the back anyway, and this, that, and everything else. But it is already, I swear, the media started to eclipse, and it kind of makes me feel good in a way. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Nathan Cleary, but they're talking Reece Walsh, like that performance being even better than Cleary's, better than anyone else's. So that kind of rubs out a little bit more of 23. You know, it's always going to be remembered for that 20 minutes that Cleary came on and did what he did to us. But now you got an 80-minute Reece Walsh performance, so it's a little bit different there. But I really think, though, looking back on it, Reece Walsh has had a better run than your Jared Hayne, your Ben Barber, your Tommy Trbojevic, all those guys. Not put together, but better than all of those guys. Yes, you know, if you look at some of the stats, they might be higher and whatever, but he actually went on to win the thing. He went on to take his team all the way to the grand final, get in there, won it. Clive Churchill scored tries. He did everything. He just ridiculous. And I love the post that he put up after. Reece put up a lot of posts, but there was the one of him on his story which just like, I just want a cop. Like, what the fuck? And it would just be surreal. But to go on and do the damn thing as well as those other guys played, like to actually get it done, and especially against Melbourne Storm, who had the track record of kind of shutting down those teams and those particular players, I think it speaks for itself. Like Reece, he's got to be the best out of that lot. Ezra Mann, unreal, by the way. Interjecting him, just the fact that we just had a guy like that sitting on the sideline, just ridiculous. And fuck what you've got to say about him at this stage. The dude did his time. You know, they decided that he got fined out of his ass. You know, there's a reason they kept him at the club. He had an unreal performance. In attack, did what he needed to do. I found his defensive efforts, though, like that was the real, you know, so there's some moments there where he just jammed players and made him cough up the ball, and it swung that tide. It changed the momentum, so it was huge by Ezra Mann. Very happy to see how he went. There's that photo of him and Reece Walsh. I think mostly Ezra giving Stefano a little bit of a spray, but that photo basically sums it all up. I feel like for that game and the way that those boys played. So absolutely massive and huge for a couple of our players that are going to be leaving the club. With Kobe Hetherington, your Tyson Smooth, to be able to leave with a ring. Awesome stuff. Absolutely love that. Stefano, I bet he's starting to regret those comments a little bit now because, well, he didn't necessarily play bad. He definitely wasn't all that while he was out there. And one of the stories that I think Reece Walsh put up in the change rooms there, I forgot if they were about to sing or whatever's going on, but he's just like, Stefano's stuck and we're fucking up. Like, oh, I got so much time for it. The boys on the social medias after, fucking yippee yahoo. But, Jordan Ricky as well. The absolute carry on from him after the game was hilarious. The baseball bats from Payne Haas, just the little subtle digs and different things that are going on. You got Jordan Ricky's out there looking a booty call Buzz Rothfield late at night time. I was asking everyone for the Buzz number. I'd love to know if he got his hands on it, Abe. Like, it's 3 a.m, Buzz trying to sleep, and you just got Jordan Ricky blowing up your phone and leaving your voice messages. Buzz would absolutely be rattled by that, but another thing that was just absolute class. Like, there's been a lot of chat about the whole Kevy stuff and, you know, everything surrounding that, but it was massive class by Renault to invite and acknowledge Billy Walters up on stage to lift that trophy with him. Like, it sucked so bad when he got hurt and, you know, wasn't able to go on to lift, like, be out there with all the boys. But, you know, they really need to be making up more rings for those guys because, you know, he was such a pivotal part of that and everything obviously going on with Kevy at the start of the season to make it all the way through. It's cruel, but I suppose not everyone can be there, and, you know, just glad to see him up there. So that was massive by Renault. One last player that I'd like to touch on, though, Gamut Shibasaki. Whew, what a run and what a season, a year that bloke has had. Like, literally starting off training trial, Madge is just all of a sudden throwing this dude into the starting team. All of a sudden he's picked into Queensland team, half the state's growing bloody goatees, he's got all that rocking, goes out, scores a double in the grand final, wins a premiership, gets a ring, and bang, oh, he's also called up into the Australian side. Like, that is just unheard of, ridiculous sort of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely tops to him, and I cannot wait for Tom to end up with a Shibasaki goatee tattoo. So, we're going to have to get that organised in the next couple weeks, months, whenever. We'll get it done eventually, because it's just juicy content, really. That's for free, and I think he might be getting a Broncos tattoo in general. So, who knows with that? So, yeah, we shall see. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say. I'm sure there's stuff to jump into about the Storm, but it's all about the Bronx here, baby. What can I say? But to the girls, to the men, fucking, we're just too good. We're too good. I've been stoked. It feels weird coming to the end of the season. Like, it just 19 years feels like there's some finality about it in a weird way. Like, the Broncos finally got it done. Their share prices went through the fucking roof come Monday as well, just for shits and gigs. Had a little look on the ASX, the BBL, as the Broncos go under. I think it was up about 40% or something. So those shareholders pumping up. Might have to buy some of those. I can be a part owner that way if I do. But no, that's pretty much it. I think that's about it for this week. So yeah, over and out. Up the Bronx 2025, baby. Woo!